Are you looking to start patterning in Adobe Illustrator? Hi, I'm Christina Hadley-Dyke-Roosevelt, and I love to digitally apparel pattern in Adobe Illustrator. I start with the basic pattern set or sloper, and then I manipulate it into any design that I choose. I absolutely love to do it, and I'm going to show you what I did to create my latest that I am about to sew and put together. Let's take a look. There we go. So, as you can see, I have my basic pattern set or sloper underneath here, underneath these already drawn lines. Let me zoom in just a little bit. So what I did is I decided what type of neckline I wanted to begin with. And I wanted kind of like a sweetheart neckline. And what you don't see is what I'm just going to go ahead. So I'm going to have a neckline that looks like that with a little bit of ruching. It's not the best way to simulate ruching, but this is why I'm a patterner, not a designer. So I'm having a fun neckline that is in the shape of a sweetheart that is gathered right there. And I love that type of look. So all I had to do is pen out my pattern, and I knew that this sloper fits me great. I drafted it and fit it in a basic two-way stretch. There's multiple ways you can do that, so I knew this one was ready to go. So I just started drawing, and I knew that I wanted a fun little flounce for the waist. So I drafted my circles to get my flounce, and I knew what the length of half my waist was. So I do half in the front, half in the back. And at one point I thought I'd have a longer back than front, but it turns out I don't have enough fabric for that. So I kept it the same. So after that, I had to work on the sleeve. The sleeve is a basic slash and spread. And then I just popped up the cap a little bit and popped down the hem just to give it a little bit more flary, flouncy look. But it's actually not too hard because all you have to do is take this pattern here of my basic sleeve and then I cut it out and I just swing it out just like a basic slash and spread that you would do on a normal pattern, except it's all digital. And what's so great about this is I always keep my basic patterns on the base layer of my new pattern of whatever I'm drafting, so I can always go back to it. So if I mess it up enough, it doesn't take long to just be like, oh, okay, we're going to just move this all off to one side, and I'm going to try that again, because that's not how I want it to look. And then, once I have all my patterns kind of figured out, I can double check that the lengths are the same. You'll want to be adding the hash marks so that you know where they're going to line up and that it doesn't get all confusing later. The other thing that you'll definitely want to do that I still need to do, so I added all my seam allowances, but now I need to add my grain lines. And because this is a fabric that has a two-way stretch and not a four-way stretch, I definitely want to make sure that I know where the grain line needs to lie, because it definitely matters which way it's stretching. And if you have half your pieces stretching one way and half your pieces stretching the other way, your shirt's going to be all confuddled and weird looking. But that is for the actual building process. Let me zoom just out a second. So there we have it. So I have my front here, and this will actually fold in half. And that will be the only piece that's lined, is that center front that kind of ruches down. And it goes down to the front little piece. And then I have the back with the same type of lines, because I thought it would nicely mimic the front and back, with the fun flouncy bottom and a sleeve. So I'm going to finish adding my small tweaks here of my grain lines and some of my hash marks just to make sure that I know what goes to what. It's always best. I always like adding those little details to make sure that I know what I was thinking when I was patterning it to when I was sewing it. but I love it. If you are interested in digitally apparel patterning, check out the link below to get my useful key commands and useful charts while I digitally apparel pattern. I use it all the time. And once you actually start using it, you can actually pattern really fast because you can switch between the pen tool or the direct select, and you're able to zoom in fast and zoom out, and you're not having to always go over to these edge tools to make and scour through them and find it. I love doing it. So definitely find that link and get your own useful charts and key commands. And I will see you next time while I am actually sewing and putting this fun garment together. We'll see you next time. Bye!